Alex had been excited about moving into his new dormitory. University life was supposed to be his first taste of independence, and he imagined late nights filled with study sessions, laughter with friends, and maybe even the occasional adventure. What he did not expect was that his adventure would begin the very moment he opened the door to his assigned room. The room looked ordinary enough at first glance: 2 beds, 2 desks, a window with pale curtains, and a closet on each side. But sitting on the far bed was not another nervous first-year student lugging in heavy bags. Instead, a tall figure with silver-blue skin and hair that shimmered like threads of light turned its head toward him. The figure blinked slowly, almost, as if calculating the perfect rhythm to match human blinking. "Greetings," the figure said, its voice calm and musical. "You must be Alex." Alex froze, his hand still on the doorknob. He had read about the university's special exchange program but assumed it was reserved for students in high-level science tracks, not ordinary ones like him. Yet here he was, face to face with an alien. Yeah. That's me," Alex managed, setting his bag down awkwardly. "And you are?" "I am Lyra of the Zarathi Collective," the alien said, rising gracefully from the bed. "I have chosen Earth for my field research. The university has agreed that I may share this space with you. I hope this arrangement will be satisfactory." Alex tried to process the moment. His roommate was an alien, not just a pen pal or a guest lecturer, an actual alien sharing his living space. He forced a smile. "Yeah, sure, totally fine. Welcome, I guess." Lyra tilted her head, studying him closely. "You are nervous, that is expected, but do not be alarmed. My interest is purely academic. I wish to study human reproduction customs." Alex's eyes nearly popped out of his head. "Wait, what?" "Human reproduction customs," Lyra repeated, as though the phrase were self-explanatory. "It is a vital subject. My people reproduce through designated pairings chosen by genetic compatibility. But humans, your process is different. You add layers of social ritual and emotional entanglement. I wish to observe this in a controlled environment." Alex dropped onto his bed, running a hand down his face. "Great. My roommate is an alien, scientist who wants to study dating." Lyra raised a finger, correcting him politely. "Not merely dating. Reproduction customs. This includes courtship, affection, social bonding, family rituals, and intergenerational transfer of knowledge. I intend to record observations and collect data." Alex groaned. "Yeah, this is going to be fun." The first few days were filled with strange moments. Lyra moved with fluid precision, setting up devices on her desk that hummed softly with light. Some looked like scanners, while others projected floating symbols Alex couldn't understand. She carried a sleek notebook that wasn't made of paper but displayed glowing text whenever she tapped on it. She also asked questions, lots of questions. Why do humans give flowers during courtship? Are flowers edible? Why is holding hands considered romantic when it serves no obvious biological function? Do all humans prefer the same mating rituals? Or is this preference randomized by environmental variables? Alex would try to answer as best he could, though often his responses left Lyra unsatisfied. She wanted logic, but human behavior didn't always follow logic. One afternoon, while Alex was trying to read a textbook, Lyra sat at the desk across from him with an intense look. "I have constructed a hypothesis," she announced. "Oh no," Alex muttered. "Here we go." "My hypothesis is that human reproduction customs are less about survival and more about emotional fulfillment," Lyra said. "To test this, I will require field observations. You will accompany me." "Accompany you where?" "Everywhere couples gather," she said simply. Alex stared at her. "You want me to take you on a date spying mission?" "Yes," Lyra replied with perfect seriousness. That weekend, Alex found himself in the campus cafe, sitting across from Lyra as she scribbled notes in her glowing notebook. All around them, students laughed, held hands, shared drinks, and leaned in close to whisper. To Lyra, it was a laboratory. "Observe," she whispered, gesturing to a couple by the window. They share a beverage from the same container. Efficiency would suggest each use their own, but they choose to share. Why? Because it feels intimate, Alex explained. It's like you're close enough to trust someone with your space. Trust, Lyra repeated, writing furiously. An unnecessary variable in biological reproduction. Yet here it is vital. Fascinating. A few tables away, another couple laughed loudly. The boy leaned forward, brushing a strand of hair from the girl's face. Lyra gasped, as though witnessing a chemical explosion. Physical contact without necessity. This must be significant, Alex. Explain. Alex sank into his chair. It's called affection. People do it because it shows they care. Lyra's eyes gleamed. Affection. Another variable. By the end of the evening, Alex was exhausted, but Lyra was energized. She had filled pages with notes and diagrams, even sketching crude stick figures with arrows pointing to sharing, touching, and laughter. Back in the dorm, Alex collapsed onto his bed. You know, normal roommates just play video games or complain about professors. They don't drag each other on field trips to study romance. Lyra tilted her head, smiling faintly, though Alex wasn't sure if her species considered it a smile. You are not a normal roommate. You are human. That makes you the perfect subject for my study. Alex groaned again, but despite himself, he couldn't help chuckling. There was something oddly charming about her seriousness. For her, human quirks weren't silly. They were treasures worth examining. As he drifted off to sleep, Alex thought about what she had said earlier. Her people reproduced only for survival, nothing more. No affection, no love, no choice. Just pairing and continuation. Maybe, just maybe, teaching her about human customs wouldn't be as bad as he feared. It might even remind him why those customs mattered in the first place. The next week of dorm life turned out to be anything but ordinary for Alex. Instead of worrying about midterms or laundry, he found himself constantly dragged into what Lyra called her practical experiments. She insisted that understanding human reproduction customs required first-hand study, not just reading. Alex wasn't sure if she was serious or if this was her way of having fun, but either way, he became her reluctant assistant. The first experiment one morning. Alex woke up to find Lyra standing by his bed holding a notebook and staring at him with unblinking eyes. Alex, she said calmly, I require your assistance. He groaned, rubbing his eyes. It's 7 a.m. What, now? I must test the effectiveness of human courting gestures. I will attempt them on random individuals to record reactions. Alex sat up instantly. Wait, you're going to do what? Gestures, she said, as if it were obvious. Hand-holding, gift-giving, verbal compliments. I will select test subjects at random. Alex nearly choked. You can't just walk up to people and start. Look, humans don't work that way. You'll freak them out. Lyra tapped her chin thoughtfully. Then you will accompany me. Your presence will make it appear natural. Despite his protests, Alex found himself dragged out of the dorm and into the busy quad. Students walked to class, chatting with friends, sipping coffee, or rushing with books tucked under their arms. Lyra spotted her first subject, a girl sitting on a bench reading. Without hesitation, she marched up, produced a flower from her satchel, and handed it to the startled student. This is for you, Lyra announced with robotic seriousness. The girl blinked, then glanced at Alex, who shrugged helplessly. Thanks, she said cautiously, before hurrying away with the flower clutched like evidence from a crime scene. Lyra scribbled notes into her glowing notebook. Subject appeared startled, but accepted the gift. Hypothesis. Gift-giving creates confusion. If context is absent, Alex sighed. Yeah, you think. Literal interpretations, the experiments continued all week. Lyra's alien logic mixed with human culture in ways that made Alex's life far more complicated than it had ever been. When she read in a magazine that sharing food is romantic, She invited 3 classmates to join her for lunch and attempted to hand-feed them French fries. One student laughed, another blushed furiously, and the third ran off muttering about weird alien customs. When she overheard someone say, "Dating is all about chemistry," she took it literally, borrowing lab equipment and trying to measure pheromones during conversations. Alex had to intervene before she poked a poor student with a sensor in the middle of a cafeteria line. Her most outrageous misunderstanding happened when she watched a romantic movie on Alex's laptop. In one scene, the hero gave his jacket to the heroine on a cold night. The very next day, Lyra carried around 3 spare jackets and attempted to give them to random passers-by, regardless of the weather. Humans appear to appreciate clothing, offerings as signs of protection, she explained matter-of-factly while forcing a sweater onto a confused jogger in 90-degree heat. Alex dragged her away before campus security could be called. "Lyra, you can't just copy what you see. These things have context. It's about the situation, not just the action." She looked at him with wide, serious eyes. "Then you must teach me context. Without it, my data is incomplete." Growing curiosity, as embarrassing as her experiments were, Alex noticed something deeper behind Lyra's behavior. She wasn't mocking humans, she was genuinely fascinated. Every time she failed to understand, she grew more determined to try again. One evening, after a long day of field tests, Alex found her sitting cross-legged on her bed, studying her notes. The faint light from her tablet illuminated her silver-blue features. "Why do humans complicate reproduction?" she asked softly. "Your species could reproduce more efficiently if you eliminated unnecessary steps like dates, emotions, and choices. Yet you insist on keeping them." Alex leaned against his pillow thinking, "Because efficiency isn't everything. It's not just about continuing life, it's about who you share that life with. Love, family, friendship, they give meaning to survival." Lyra tilted her head. "Meaning. That word appears often in my research, but I still do not fully understand it." "You will," Alex said with a small smile. "It's not something you can measure with sensors. It's something you feel." She considered his words carefully, jotting down meaning felt, not measured, in her notebook. Trouble on campus. Of course, not everyone on campus found her behavior amusing. Rumors spread quickly. The alien girl who spies on couples, the one who hands out jackets in summer, the strange roommate dragging people into experiments. Some students avoided her, while others laughed behind her back. A group of upperclassmen even confronted Alex one afternoon. "Hey man," one of them said with a smirk. "Tell your alien friend to stop creeping around. She almost scared my girlfriend to death yesterday." Alex clenched his fists, trying to stay calm. "She's not trying to creep anyone out. She's just curious. She doesn't mean harm." "Curious or not, it's weird," the guy sneered before walking off. That night, Alex told Lyra what had happened. She listened quietly, her eyes downcast. "So my research has caused distress. I did not intend this outcome." Alex sighed. "I know. But people don't like feeling like test subjects. They want to be treated like people." "Then how do I proceed?" she asked, her voice softer than usual. He thought for a moment. "Maybe stop experimenting on people and start learning from them. Talk to them, ask questions, be part of their lives instead of just observing." Lyra looked at him thoughtfully. "You mean participate?" "Exactly. A shift in approach." The next day, Alex noticed a change. Instead of running awkward experiments, Lyra began asking questions in conversation. She joined a study group, not to collect data but to learn alongside others. When classmates laughed at a joke, she laughed too, though sometimes a beat too late. At lunch, she asked a girl about her family traditions and listened intently to the answer. In the library, she asked a boy why he chose to bring flowers to his partner, not just what kind of flowers they were. Slowly, people started warming up to her. She was still strange, yes, but in a way that felt less threatening and more curious, like a child learning about the world for the first time. That evening, Alex found her smiling faintly. "Your advice was correct. Participation increases cooperation. Humans are more willing to share when they feel included. Alex chuckled. See? You're getting the hang of it. A quiet realization. That night, as they both prepared for bed, Lyra spoke softly. Alex, may I ask one final question for today? Shoot, he said, brushing his teeth. When humans form a bond, how do they know it is real? How do they know it is not just another experiment? Alex paused, then set down his toothbrush. Because it feels different. When it's real, you don't need data to prove it, you just know. Lyra looked at him for a long moment, her eyes reflecting a mix of confusion and wonder. She didn't write that one down. Instead, she simply nodded and whispered, I will think about this. By the time midterms arrived, Alex had settled into a cautious routine. Classes, study sessions, and meals with friends filled his days. But there was always Lyra. She no longer chased strangers with gifts or sensors. Instead, she had adopted a quieter method, observing, asking questions, and learning from human interaction in subtle ways. Yet curiosity still burned within her. She wanted to understand emotions and customs, not just actions. She wanted to feel what humans felt. The art of conversation one afternoon, Alex and Lyra sat in the campus courtyard, laptops open, pretending to study. You speak with many humans, Alex said, noticing her focused gaze on a nearby group of students. Do you understand them better? Lyra shook her head slightly. Understanding requires more than listening. I must comprehend context, history, and intent. These variables change constantly. Alex laughed softly. Welcome to human life. Nothing is simple, nothing is fixed. She tilted her head. Then I must ask questions more carefully. A girl carrying a stack of books passed by, nearly tripping. Lyra quickly moved to steady her, holding the books and smiling politely. Thank you, the girl said, surprised. Are you helping? Me? Yes, Lyra replied. You almost lost these. She returned the books carefully, noting how the girl's expression softened. Alex watched, impressed. See? That's human kindness. You didn't just fix the problem, you connected. That's what people remember. Small acts, big lessons encouraged. Lyra began practicing small acts of empathy. She noticed when classmates seemed stressed and offered water or snacks. She listened attentively when friends talked about family, exams, or heartbreak. One day, Alex witnessed something remarkable. Lyra approached a freshman, a boy sitting alone on a bench looking dejected. She sat beside him, silent at first, just sharing the space. After a moment, she spoke softly. You seem troubled. May I ask why? The boy looked at her, confused but not hostile. I failed my first math exam. Everyone else did better. I see, she said, nodding slowly. Failure is difficult to endure. It does not define your worth. Alex watched, amazed, as the boy's shoulders relaxed slightly. He smiled faintly and nodded. Thanks. I guess it's not the end of the world. That, Alex whispered, is a huge step for her. She's learning that humans need more than data. They need compassion. Lyra turned her head to look at him. Compassion. I am beginning to understand its utility. A strange bond as days passed. Alex noticed a subtle change in their relationship. Lyra was no longer just a curious alien studying humans. She had become someone he genuinely cared for. Her questions, her attempts to connect, her awkward but sincere gestures, they all revealed a deeper intelligence and curiosity than any human could easily match. One evening, Alex found her on the rooftop of their dorm, gazing at the stars. Beautiful, isn't it? He asked, joining her. Lyra's eyes reflected the starlight. It is. On my homeworld, the sky has many moons, but none like these distant suns. She paused, then asked quietly, Alex, do humans feel wonder often? Sometimes, he said. Wonder comes when you realize how small you are, and how much there is to learn. I feel it now, she admitted. I wish to preserve this feeling. Alex smiled, realizing that she was beginning to internalize the emotion, not just analyze it, missteps and recovery. Of course, learning was never perfect. Lyra's literal approach sometimes caused problems. During a study group, she overheard someone say, "I'm going to break up with my partner." Mistaking it as a statement of fact rather than emotion, she attempted to physically repair the situation by giving both people a stack of paper and a pen, insisting they write apologies. Alex intervened quickly. "Lyra, that's not how humans handle conflict. You can't fix feelings with instructions." She looked genuinely puzzled. "But data suggests reconciliation requires communication. Apologies facilitate that." Alex sighed, realizing he needed to explain something deeper. Humans need space, timing, and willingness. You can't force it. Sometimes the best support is listening and waiting. Her eyes reflected deep thought. Listening, waiting. These variables cannot be quantified, yet they are essential. "Exactly," Alex said. "That's what makes humans so unpredictable and beautiful." Observation becomes participation. By mid-semester, Lyra had begun to participate in human life more fully. She attended campus events, joined clubs, and even helped organize a charity fundraiser. Unlike her earlier experiments, she now focused on contribution, not observation. During the fundraiser, she coordinated donations and managed volunteers with precision. Yet, she did it gently, encouraging participants and showing empathy to those overwhelmed. Alex watched her from across the hall, silently impressed. She had transformed from a detached observer into a thoughtful participant. Later, as they walked back to the dorm, Alex asked, "You're doing amazing, you know?" Lyra tilted her head. "Am I? Humans judge success by results and impressions. Have I achieved both?" "You've achieved more than both," Alex said. "You're learning what it means to be human. That's harder than any test." Her lips curved into a subtle smile. "Then I am grateful to you for teaching me." A night of reflection. That night, Alex and Lyra sat quietly in their room. Lyra held her notebook but wasn't writing. She simply observed, her gaze thoughtful. "Alex," she said finally, "I attempted to study human reproduction customs through experiments, but I now realize understanding requires more than observation and trials. One must understand feelings, context, and trust." Alex nodded. "Yes, humans are complicated. You can't just record data, you have to live it." She smiled faintly. "I am beginning to live it, thanks to your guidance." Alex felt a warmth in his chest. For the first time, he wasn't just helping Lyra understand humans. He felt that he was learning from her too. Her perspective, her curiosity, and her honesty challenged him to think about humanity in a new way. Lyra closed her notebook and looked out the window at the glowing city below. Perhaps the most important lessons cannot be measured. Alex smiled. "You're right. And you're learning them faster than anyone I know." She turned to him, a faint glimmer of pride and wonder in her eyes. "Then I shall continue to learn, as long as you guide me." Alex nodded, realizing that their partnership had grown into something beyond experimentation. It was now a mutual journey of discovery, and though neither of them realized it yet, the bond they were forming would soon be tested in ways neither of them could predict. One crisp afternoon, Lyra approached Alex with an unusual request. "Alex," she said, her voice steady but tinged with curiosity, "I wish to attend a human social gathering called a dinner party." Alex blinked. "Dinner party? That's new for you. Are you sure you're ready?" "I am ready to observe and participate," she replied. "I believe this will expand my understanding of human interactions." He hesitated for a moment, then smiled. "All right, but you'll need guidance and a dress code." Lyra's eyes widened. "Dress code?" "Yes. Clothing is a form of communication for humans. It conveys respect, intent, and sometimes status. Wearing proper attire will help you integrate." She tilted her head thoughtfully. "I shall comply. Please instruct me. Lessons in appearance. Over the next hour, Alex guided Lyra through the dorm room mirror. He explained the purpose of colors, styles, and accessories. Lyra listened intently, adjusting her outfit with precision. She chose a deep blue dress that complemented her silvery skin, polished her shoes until they reflected light, and ensured her hair shimmered neatly. "Alex," she said finally, "I am prepared. Have I met the human standard?" Alex studied her. "You'll stand out, but in a good way. Humans will notice you." She nodded, seemingly satisfied. "Then we shall proceed." Entering the social sphere, the dinner party was hosted by one of Alex's classmates, a lively young woman named Marissa. As they arrived, Lyra observed the room carefully. Humans were clustered in small groups, laughing, eating, and exchanging gestures that conveyed meaning beyond words. Lyra's first instinct was to catalog every action, every facial expression. But she noticed something unexpected. Humans did not respond well to rigid observation. They reacted better to engagement, curiosity, and shared experiences. Alex noticed her hesitance. "Relax, you don't have to analyze everything, just be present." Lyra blinked, processing the instruction. Then she stepped forward, offering polite smiles, asking questions, and listening carefully. Slowly, the humans began to warm to her, the human bonding ritual. During dessert, a heated discussion arose about a classic human sport. Alex watched as Lyra listened intently, occasionally asking questions that revealed her unique perspective. "I notice," she said thoughtfully, "that participants invest emotional energy far beyond the objective of winning. Is this typical?" Alex laughed. "Absolutely. Humans often prioritize pride, reputation, and camaraderie more than the actual result. It's part of what makes life unpredictable." Lyra nodded, absorbing the lesson. "I am beginning to understand that humans value symbolic gestures as much as outcomes." By the end of the evening, Lyra had engaged in multiple conversations, even sharing anecdotes about her homeworld in ways that were carefully chosen to intrigue without alarming. Her curiosity and sincerity won the admiration of everyone present. Test of patience. As the night drew on, Alex noticed something strange. Lyra had begun asking questions about romantic relationships, specifically how humans express attraction and affection. "Alex," she said quietly, "I have observed patterns that suggest humans often seek closeness through touch and shared experiences. I wish to understand this better." Alex's stomach tightened. "That's complicated. There's more to it than observation. It involves consent, emotion, and mutual understanding." "I understand," she replied calmly. "But I wish to experience it in a controlled manner under guidance. Please instruct me." He nodded, realizing this was an inevitable step in her learning. "We'll start slowly. You must respect boundaries and you must communicate clearly." Lyra's eyes reflected comprehension. "Agreed. I shall proceed with caution." The dance of discovery. The dinner party concluded with music. Humans paired up for a traditional dance, moving rhythmically across the floor. Alex extended his hand to Lyra. "You don't have to," she said. "I want to," he replied. "It's part of the human experience." She considered for a moment, then took his hand. As they moved, Lyra struggled with timing, steps, and rhythm, but she adapted quickly, mimicking Alex's movements. Each gesture, each rotation, became a lesson in trust and cooperation. Alex watched as she gradually relaxed, her alien form blending seamlessly with the human flow. She laughed softly when she misstepped, a sound that was both musical and genuine. "Alex," she said, "I think I understand. The dance is not just movement. It is connection, trust, and shared attention." "Exactly," he said, smiling. "And it's one of the ways humans show they care." Reflections. After the party back in their dorm, Lyra sat on the edge of her bed, deep in thought. "Alex," she said quietly, "I have attempted many human experiments. Yet tonight, I realize the greatest lessons cannot be quantified. They are felt, Alex nodded. You're learning faster than most, and you're discovering something important. Humans value effort, attention, and sincerity more than perfection. She looked at him. Then my experiments must evolve. I must move beyond observation into understanding. I must experience, feel, and adapt. You're already doing that, Alex said gently. And I'm proud of you. A faint glow of emotion crossed her features. Thank you, Alex. Your guidance is invaluable. The unexpected arrival, just as they were about to retire for the night. A loud knock echoed through the dorm. Alex opened the door to find a university official holding a clipboard. Alex? Parker? The official asked. Yes, he replied. You've been reported for unusual activity involving a non-human entity on campus, the official said, eyes narrowing. We need to discuss this immediately. Alex's heart raced. Unusual activity? She's just learning about humans. Lyra stepped forward, calm and composed. I am aware of their concerns. I assure you, no harm was caused. My actions were intended solely for educational purposes. The official frowned but nodded. We'll need to follow protocol. Please come with me. Alex glanced at Lyra, worry mixed with determination. Don't worry, we'll handle this together. She tilted her head. Together. Yes, I am prepared. Bond strengthened as the door closed behind the official. Alex felt a strange sense of anticipation. Lyra had grown beyond mere observation. She had become a partner, a companion, and an explorer of humanity. Whatever challenges awaited them, they would face them side by side. And as Lyra watched the city lights flicker through the window, she realized something profound. Humanity was not just a subject to study. It was a world to experience, a web of connections and a journey worth embracing. The university office smelled of polished wood and faint disinfectant. Alex followed the official, a tall, stern man with a clipboard, while Lyra trailed slightly behind, her posture perfect and composed. The air was tense, filled with the weight of authority and uncertainty. Alex Parker, the official began, tapping the clipboard with a pen. Reports indicate that you have been hosting a non-human entity in your dorm. This raises concerns regarding safety and campus regulations. Alex swallowed hard, glancing at Lyra. She's not dangerous, he said. She's my roommate and she's learning about human society. She has never hurt anyone. The official arched an eyebrow. Even so, unusual behavior by extraterrestrial life forms must be reported. Protocol requires a thorough review. Lyra stepped forward. I understand the rules of your world. I have intentionally acted with caution and respect for human life. My only objective is learning. The official hesitated, clearly unprepared for the alien's calm and articulate speech. I see. We will still need to document everything, but I appreciate your cooperation. The review. They were led to a conference room, where a small panel of university officials awaited. Alex's heart thumped. He knew that any misstep could cause serious trouble. Lyra, however, remained perfectly composed, observing every movement, every expression, cataloging the room as if it were a new type of human laboratory. One of the officials, a woman with sharp glasses, spoke first. We understand that your interactions are educational, but we must ensure that no students are at risk. Can you explain precisely what activities have occurred? Alex nodded. We've mostly explored cultural customs, social gatherings, dining etiquette, and human communication. She attended a dinner party last night, interacted respectfully with students, and participated in traditional dance. There was no inappropriate behavior. Lyra added, My objective is to observe, understand, and adapt to human norms. I have not, and will not, breach boundaries of consent or privacy. All activities were educational and consensual, under the guidance of Alex Parker. The panel exchanged glances. It was clear that Lyra's intelligence and precise communication had impressed them, but skepticism remained. Very well, the woman with glasses said. We will allow continued residence under supervision. However, any deviation or harmful behavior will result in immediate action. Lyra inclined her head. Understood. Compliance is assured. Alex exhaled, relieved. Thank you. That's all I ask. A walk through the city. After the meeting, Alex and Lyra walked through the university campus. The autumn leaves rustled under their feet, and students passed by, chatting and laughing. Alex noticed that Lyra moved with an air of quiet confidence, blending her alien grace with human manners. You did really well in there, Alex said. I think they might even respect you a little. Lyra tilted her head. Respect is based on understanding, not fear or authority. I did not seek approval. I sought comprehension. Alex smiled. Comprehension is good, but respect is important. 2. It can open doors, make life easier. Humans respond to trust as much as knowledge. Lyra considered this. Then my experiments must include observation of emotional response, not only intellectual understanding. Exactly, Alex said. Humans are complicated, yes, but their hearts guide more than logic sometimes. A new experiment. Back at their dorm, Lyra settled by the window, watching the sun dip below the horizon. Her silver skin caught the fading light, creating a subtle shimmer. She turned to Alex. Alex, she said softly, I wish to experiment further. Not with observation alone, but with understanding human emotions in personal relationships. Alex's stomach tightened. That can be tricky. Emotions aren't always predictable. They can hurt if not handled carefully. I am aware, Lyra replied. Yet, to fully understand humans, I must experience interaction that involves trust, care, and mutual respect. I wish to practice under your guidance. Alex nodded. All right. We can explore that. Slowly, step by step. Lyra's eyes brightened with a subtle glow of excitement. I will learn then, not only customs, but emotional patterns. I will adapt while ensuring no harm occurs. Shared moments. Over the following weeks, Alex and Lyra explored human activities together. They attended more social events, studied human art and music, and even played sports. Lyra's adaptability astonished Alex. She learned not just how humans acted, but why they acted that way. One afternoon, they sat on a bench in the campus park, watching children play. Lyra tilted her head. Alex, I am beginning to understand the purpose of familial bonds. They are not merely biological. They are emotional, cultural, and supportive. Humans invest heavily in mutual care. Yes, Alex said, smiling. That's exactly it. Humans need connection. It's how we survive, how we grow. It's part of what makes life meaningful. I wish to understand this fully, Lyra said. Perhaps one day I can experience such connections myself. Alex chuckled softly. And you will, but carefully. Humans have complicated feelings, but you already show patience and respect. That counts for a lot. A symbolic gesture one evening, Lyra asked Alex to join her in the dorm room. She held a small, intricately designed device glowing faintly. This is a human custom, modified for my understanding, she said. It symbolizes trust, commitment, and shared experience. Alex looked at her curiously. And what exactly does it do? Lyra smiled faintly. It records a moment of shared attention, interaction, and understanding. When both parties acknowledge it, it strengthens emotional awareness. Alex nodded slowly. Okay, I trust you. She activated the device, and for several minutes, they focused on each other's presence, sharing thoughts, small gestures, and silent understanding. Though simple in appearance, the exercise deepened their connection. Alex realized that Lyra was not merely studying humans, she was embracing them. Harmony achieved. Months passed. Lyra continued her experiments with growing sophistication. She learned about human emotions, communication, social customs, and relationships, but she also became part of the human community. Students admired her curiosity, respected her intelligence, and valued her sincerity. Alex observed her progress with pride. The alien roommate who had once studied humans like a textbook had evolved into a being capable of understanding, empathy, and trust. Lyra's growth was not just intellectual, it was personal, emotional, and profoundly human. One evening, as they watched the city lights from their dorm window, Lyra spoke softly. "Alex, I have learned much about humans, yet the greatest lesson is not in observation or experimentation. It is in participation. To experience, to connect, to respect, and to adapt. This is the essence of understanding." Alex nodded. "You've become part of the human experience, Lyra, and I'm glad you're here as my friend and my roommate." She tilted her head, a faint smile gracing her features. "And I am glad to be here, Alex. For your guidance, patience, and companionship have taught me more than any data could. Together, we bridge worlds, not only in knowledge, but in understanding and harmony." The two sat quietly, side by side, their reflections mirrored in the window. Beyond them lay a universe of possibility, but inside, they had discovered something even greater: friendship, trust, and the shared journey of discovery. And in that quiet moment, Alex realized that Lyra's experiments had transformed both of them, not only in knowledge but in heart.